Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. And as OpTic takes us start out 2-0 so far in the Stage 5 qualifiers and are looking good to qualify on a good seed for the Major, they still haven't made it over the line in either of the last two Grand Finals they have been in. What is the difference in those situations? Do they need another man in the room? With Rambo getting released the other day, Karma seems at times very keen to come in as their new head coach. Dashy says they would for sure like to see Karma on board, but it's potentially Karma himself that's stopping that from happening at the present time. Very much intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Plenty to dive into quickly. First of all, just some Doug sent to Martin here because look, he's been trying his best in ranked, but he is getting absolutely destroyed by probably a lot of cheaters all across the board, right? I mean, Doug's running into some of these guys. I know that whenever I watch the ranked play streams, he's having a really hard time, or really just anyone's having a hard time figuring out what's going on with all the cheaters in the game. And the issue is that sometimes, I mean, this guy's called user 88 whatever, and he's 12-0 to start the game, so probably there's something dodgy going on. But even the players that actually are legit, they're, you know, gonna get called out and exposed by some of the pros or, you know, the amateur players. And I mean, for example, in this moment where Doug's scared wild is because his teammate is just getting 5 or 6 headshots in the feed in a row, and Doug's like, well look, I'm getting carried by this guy. And often there's like a hack v hacker going on where you get like cheaters on either team and they're trying to figure out who's got the best hacks. I mean, it's just outrageous, right? Doug just sits here chilling out because they win in the game, does some pull-ups. I mean, yeah, he's not a happy man and just wants some recognition from Infinity Ward that this is, you know, the cheaters are absolutely out of control at the moment. And at least if someone from Infinity Ward said, look, yeah, we know there's a cheating problem, we know we want to address it. I know that people have said, because there's all these advertising at the moment, even on the CDL broadcast for the World Series of Warzone and stuff, like they're pushing this Warzone competitive thing in addition to ranked arriving into Warzone. But it's like, how is that going to work if cheaters are everywhere? So not a good moment at the moment. Thought this was quite nice to see as well, just because we're expecting at some point in the near future to get some confirmation as to what this year's Call of Duty is going to be, if there really is going to be, or whatever they're going to do, right? If it is going to be a map pack extension basically to Modern Warfare 2, they're going to pretend it's a bigger deal than that, but obviously Activision want to line their pockets. I do wonder whether, in addition to bringing back Modern Warfare 2 maps from, you know, the original MW2 to this game, they could consider some MW3 maps as well, because, I mean, they all feel somewhat the same, right? This is Arcadon, of course, great map from back in the day. This is what, Bootleg, which was another map that was played in competitive back then. This is Hard Hat. Method just got the, you know, absolute 240p quality. And then, I think, was this Resistance, right? I forget exactly the name of this map, but yeah, I didn't really play much Modern Warfare 3, actually, but I do remember watching, I don't think I watched any competitive Modern Warfare 3 at the time. I think I watched it more, like, after the fact, but there were some good moments I remember on some of these maps. Some YouTubers I watched drop in, like, Moabs and stuff, so yeah, good times, I think. So, yeah, Methods wants it back. And I know that for many players, it's actually one of their favourite games ever. Did want to give Huke some credit here for being an absolute OG in respect to knowing his Call of Duty history. They've been doing this thing lately, you guys might have seen, getting a couple of pros to sit down and do their CDL Dream Team. So they're meant to choose a player from a particular game. Sometimes they don't really say specifics, right? And obviously, Shotzzy is looking pretty smug here because he's forward an absolute god squad of Advanced Warfare Scump, iLLeY Formal Karma, and then I think BO2 Kremp. Now, Huke has gone for Pluto. That's a legendary name from back in the day. If you guys don't know Pluto, Google the guy. As cracked as he is jacked, obviously Pharaoh as well, rest in peace. So I thought there was, you know, even Assassin he puts on here as well, which is such an OG name that was, I think Assassin was that, there's a clutch that Assassin I think had on firing range. It was maybe against OpTic in Black Ops 1 that is pretty legendary. You guys might be able to find that on the YouTube, and then Some Ghost as well. So it's cool to see that, because a lot of these players, even the likes of Drazah, I think he came into the scene a couple of years ago, he didn't really know much of the history, right? He likes playing COD, but he didn't know too much about the legends of the game and what they innovated in, and it seems interesting that Huke has a lot of that knowledge and is respecting a lot of the originals, which I thought was really great to see as well. And these were FaZe's ones, for example. I believe I shared this briefly for you guys the other day, but I mean, yeah, so Slasher went for aBeZy, Scump, Kremp, and Clay with various games. A pretty good team, to be fair. And then Simp goes for Formal, Karma, Natron, and iLLeY. So Karma appearing on a few of these, and we'll talk about him in a second, I think for good reason. But I gotta say that from Simp's perspective, he's not necessarily built to be a general manager, is he? Like, you're looking at this roster you've got, it's basically full of ARs, and then poor Nadeshot being like the sole entry sub that's got to do it all and get all the hill time. And look, a lot of dirty work players on the team. Not sure that's the squad I'd be forming, but it is somewhat interesting that out of all of these players, what, 7 of them, apart from aBeZy, have played for OpTic at some point. So, you know, pretty interesting coincidence. Quick update on Arcitys as well. Obviously, he's going through it right now. Didn't feel well this morning, he says. Just got slammed slammed. I don't know, GG's foiled, got to find the fun again. It's been rough lately, so I can understand that from his perspective. And I mean, look, there's a series coming up next week, Los Angeles Guerrillas versus London. As Ronnie says, winner receives first class tickets to China, loser gets the economy ones. So yeah, we'll see who comes out on top of that one, but I'm not exactly looking forward to it, to be perfectly honest. Just wanted to share this from Clay as well, because he was commenting on the World Championship qualification and saying, look, really, at the end of the day, it's Vegas's fault if they don't do it. They've had their chances. Right now, I think they're the better team than Minnesota, and if they beat them online shortly, they can find themselves in a good spot. They play a big game against FaZe next weekend as well online, and if they could somehow win that one, then they'd put themselves in a pretty promising position. But fundamentally, they let themselves down at Major 4, and if they do fall short, they only probably have themselves to blame.
I'm alright if y'all don't make champs. Hey, man. You can sit there, we can sit here and make excuses, and there is a lot of bullshit around it. But in the end, we kind of did it to ourselves, man. Like, our win-loss record versus the 3 teams under us is so fucking bad. We left so many points on the board. We choked the first Florida match we ever played. We choked that one. We choked the one at the LAN that mattered a lot for points. We blew Boston, losing to LAG in a game 5. We bro. We did it to ourselves, bro. Like if we don't make champs, it's our own fault.
So good to see the awareness and the humility there from Clay, that he knows that, like, look, they've put up a good fight here this season, and Vegas have been so much a more exciting team to follow and to watch this season than, than obviously Paris Legion were, right? And hopefully they can get the job done. I'd like to see it happen. It would be a great storyline, especially because champs is in Vegas. But fundamentally, it's still in their hands. If they just win every series from now to the end of the season, they'll qualify for champs no problem at all if they win the major. So, mathematically, it's not going to be over for Vegas until they get to that point. And Minnesota Rokkr have still been questionable, I think. So it's going to be an interesting one. I also thought this was nice. So Clay was asking for people to reply with great images and memories for his birthday. And Simp replies with this one where the guys, of course, won the World Championship or whatever this was, maybe Miami back in the day. And Clay's like, I love you, bro, right? So I do wonder if there's a little bit of Clay that thinks, you know what, FaZe, maybe Slasher's not there next year. Maybe Clay, maybe they want to bring me back type thing. I don't know if that would happen, but the way Clay's performing and, I could see it. I could actually see it helping them. So that's an interesting question to keep your eyes on there. Let's talk the OpTic situation then, because they've been great so far, and we know that they might not get the event winner's curse, because so far this season, the team that's won an event has failed to win another one, and also has pretty much fallen off afterwards from what we've seen so far, at least in the online stage to follow. But OpTic don't have that. They've gone second back-to-back. They seem very confident in taking a further step forwards, and Karma might be, given his tenure, his history, his 3 World Championship wins, one of the greatest ever. I think, like, having Karma with the team on a championship Sunday would be quite valuable, just to get them in the right headspace, right? Just to say the right things to them. If they lose a map and they come backstage and they're like, oh, I don't know if we're going to win this, guys, having Karma there just to give them some reassurance and some thoughts, even like on a consultancy basis, would be pretty valuable. But whether Karma wants to be a full-time coach, he kind of pretends that he does, but then apparently when push comes to shove and when Hex says, look, if you want to be the coach, Karma, sign this contract, you've got to do X, Y, Z. Karma's like, I'm not really so sure if I want to get up at, if I want to get up at 8:30 every morning. So anyway, this is what Dashy has to say on it.
How do you think he would help you guys? And just talk me through that a little bit. Obviously, it's been a talking point.
I would love to have Damon as a coach. I mean, I think all of us would too, but I think Damon wants to coach us when he's hammered, because every single time he's get 2 or 3 drinks in, he's like, dude, Bruce, I can help you with control, man. And then I'm like, damn, yo, Damon, I'm down. And then the next day, it's like he's a ghost, bro. He's like, nah, that shit. He's like, I ain't waking up for this
He's
shit.
on Rust.
I'm waking up playing Rust for sure.
Nah, but I would love David for sure. I mean, definitely, like, because he's just like, he'll just keep it real. He'll be like, yo, listen, like, you guys are trolling here, or you guys are doing this good here. Like, he wouldn't just be, nitpicking. He'd keep it honest. You know what I mean? If something's working, if something's just, if something's just like a bad timing situation, or if it's like a, a one-off, then he'll say that. But like the bigger picture of things, he could definitely help us out with. Because he's almost like a fan. Also, he wants the best for us. So he also would be like, yo, listen, like, trust me, like, this is the one thing we got to work on. So, I would love him, but that's up to Damon for sure. We're not like restricted, because before it felt like we were just restricted, like, yo, like, do this, or like, you have to do this. You know what I mean? This is a mistake otherwise if you don't. So it's kind of one of those things where you're not second guessing, but you're like, damn, like, if I do any other play, it's just gonna be like a, yo, like, watch this. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, this is pointless. You know what I mean? Like, it's like almost like you're not allowed to make mistakes. And when I don't believe in that. I feel like in scrims you should be able to you know, test limits, you know, try things, you know, like try a setup, try a different, you know, like you want to push this, go for it. You want to see this hold if it works, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Like you shouldn't be like confined to like a box almost. I felt like we were just like almost on the leash when we were playing and we couldn't just get creative. And I feel like that's just how the best players and the best teams just like get better, honestly. I mean,
situationally
like,
making plays,
I don't I didn't want to, like, obviously, like, again, like, it's not about like, oh, we just want to run around. I feel like it's just like, I don't know, a little fugazi, but.
So basically, Dashy's like, look, Karma says he wants to coach. I would like Karma to coach from Dashy's perspective, and I'm sure the rest of the team would like him to be there as well. And I imagine JP Krez thinks, you know what, if I had Karma to help out a little bit, that'd be great. Now, is Karma going to be a full-time coach? Does he have the discipline? Does he actually want to be there with the team in the scrims all the days? Probably not. And I think Hex has mentioned in the past that Karma's got to commit to something. He's got to sign some sort of contract to ensure that whatever he's going to get compensated for this is actually worth OpTic's while in that sense. So, you know, there's a debate to be had on that one. But still, when you've got a guy like Karma, that champion level player, someone highly respected by all the players, and clearly Dashy himself especially highly within the organization, it does seem kind of, you know, to not use him as he might want to be used for the team and actually might be able to benefit the team does feel like a bit of a miss, to be honest. So we'll see what OpTic decide to do. If they can have Karma somewhat involved in their project from now to the end of the year, would be pretty interesting. Did want to mention this as well on what he had to say on Rambo, right? Or, okay, he didn't mention Rambo by name, but he was definitely discussing how the OpTic team was previously to, you know, basically his perspective on practice compared to Rambo's perspective on practice. We know that Dashy effectively won that battle. Rambo was removed, and then Rambo's now been released from the organization a few days ago. So I thought it was interesting what Dashy said, that Rambo would be very much, you know, confined to how they should play the game. I thought it was interesting. I wonder what the other players think about this and other teams as well, but it makes sense to me what Dashy is saying, that as the game progresses, you've got to evolve and move with the times. Maybe you play the game for a month or two, and, you know, Rambo or the coaching staff feels like they know how to play the game on a correct level, but actually as time progresses, there's other ideas that work out. And in practice, Dashy wants to be able to, you know, feel free to make mistakes. If you're in practice and every time you lose a rotation, you know, your coach is there saying, oh, you should have done this, should have done that, why did we not do what we talked about before? Okay, maybe that's valuable in parts, but, you know, if you try something else, if you try a different breaking idea, what about hitting this rotation instead? Just to see if it works. If your coach is going to moan at you every time you do that, you know, it's not going to be a great environment. But okay, maybe it fails 90% of the time and you think, all right, let's not do that again. But 10% of the time it works and you've discovered a new idea that other teams might not have caught on to yet. So I think it's an interesting push and pull there, because playing fundamentally sound is important, but also especially as the game progresses over the year, being able to innovate and feel free to make mistakes to achieve that is something where, you know, Dashy's and Rambo's philosophy, I guess, differed, and maybe that's an insight into exactly why. And I think I understand what Dashy's getting at here, to be honest. Just as we close out the video, then wanted to mention this in terms of online qualifier wins. Shotzzy is rapidly catching up Simp, aBeZy, and Cell. We know, of course, the last couple of years, OpTic have been pretty good when Shotzzy's been there, but also previous to that, the Dallas Empire. So Simp, aBeZy, Cellium have 47 online qualifier wins. Shotzzy is now up to 45. So, I mean, look, he's only 2 behind, and obviously there's not much time from now to the end of the year. FaZe have started 1-1, but if OpTic win everything, if they win their final 3, and FaZe weren't to win any, then potentially he could at least tie the record. Probably not going to happen because FaZe are going to go 3-2, but come next year, Shotzzy could be the holder of this record, which would be impressive given where FaZe were a couple of years ago. So very much enjoyed your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.